The most recent iteration of Israel's naval vessel, codenamed INS Drakon, was recently put into service. It demonstrates a substantial advance in the capabilities of Israeli submarines. It's a modification of a very successful Dolphin-II class, and its distinctive looks also highlight Israel's fiercely autonomous way of thinking about naval strategy. The INS Drakon is much larger and more spacious than the first two Dolphin-II boats, making it the most advanced and largest Israeli submarine to date. Thus, keep watching to learn more about the Israelis' new nuclear submarine. In order to provide room for AIP, air-independent power, the hull of the Dolphin-II was already much longer than the hull of the first-generation Dolphin-I. The addition of the additional hull insert gives the submarine even greater overall length. According to the information that has been gathered, the next-generation Dakar class will have around the same overall length as the Drakon class and will include a sail that has been enlarged in a comparable fashion. Therefore, it's possible to consider the INS Drakon to be a transitional vessel between the Dolphin class and the upcoming Dakar class. In recent info, Naval News speculated that the submarine would most likely be of a larger length and would be equipped with a vertical launch mechanism. However, it was not quite evident at that time that the missiles would be housed in the sail. There have been instances in the past in which submarines have been fitted with missile silos in the sail. This was accomplished by the HG classes, which were the first ballistic missile submarines developed specifically for the Soviet Union. In more recent times, North Korea has made use of this technique in order to fit heavier missiles into smaller submarines. But the submarine that was developed in Germany is the very first fully contemporary design to use this function. According to some estimations, the extended hull and sail take up an additional area that is around 2 meters broad by 4 meters long and as much as 11 meters deep. This might house 2 big missile silos, but more likely, it could hold anywhere from 4 to 8 smaller ones. The possibility that they possess nuclear weapons is another legitimate assumption to make about them. It's only possible to speculate on the specifics of the new missiles. By all indications, these are ballistic missiles, and at least one of them likely has a guided terminal stage. If the missile tubes had to be housed beneath the deck casing, the ship would be unable to accept very large missiles. However, by placing the missile tubes in the hull below the sail, this limitation is removed. In spite of the fact that the sail adds many meters to its potential length, weight, and stability are still important factors to take into consideration. It's interesting to note that the submarine still has 4 more torpedo tubes in the bow, despite the addition of new missiles to the sail. It would seem that these boats of the Dolphin-I and Dolphin-II classes are identical to their predecessor. The supplemental tubes have a diameter that is greater than the standard 533mm torpedo tubes. It's widely believed that they're intended for use with cruise missiles manufactured by Israel. Also, it's thought that these missiles are a component of Israel's nuclear deterrence and have a capability of being loaded with nuclear warhead. It may come as a surprise to observers that nuclear-armed cruise missiles have both torpedo tubes and vertical launch tubes built into their systems. It seems from what has been revealed that the new missiles will not serve as a straight replacement for the cruise missiles. There are a few possible reasons for this, one of which is that the new weaponry won't be available until after the submarine goes into duty. In point of fact, Drakon may be employed to put the new missiles through their paces. Therefore, maintaining the nuclear deterrent provided by the torpedo tubes during the transition is possible. Also, it's possible that one set of missiles will be equipped with conventional weapons, while the other set will be outfitted with nuclear weapons. This would make it possible to maintain a nuclear deterrent while simultaneously allowing for ground assault operations. On the other hand, the vertical launch tubes were probably incorporated late in the planning process, or perhaps after construction had already begun, according to another, more pragmatic explanation. Keeping the extra torpedo tube could have been the better and most cost-effective option. This would be the case notwithstanding the tempting prospect of reduced weight and increased simplicity if they were eliminated. The capabilities of the submarine may not be fully understood for a period of time, potentially even years. In point of fact, the Israeli Navy maintains many features of its current submarines a secret. Therefore, it's possible we may never know all about them. At the moment, Israel is in possession of 5 diesel-electric submarines of the Dolphin class. 3 of the 5 boats are older versions of the Dolphin-II. The earlier Dolphin-class submersibles had a length of 53.3 meters, a beam of 6.8 meters, and a maximum speed of 20 knots while operating underwater. They're able to go 30 days without coming to the surface of the water. Their weaponry has a capability of launching torpedoes as necessary. The more typical diesel-lead acid battery arrangement is what the upgraded boats of the Dolphin-II class use to power themselves. They're equipped with an AIP system that enables the boats to cruise in an almost imperceptible manner and can stay underwater for up to a week at a time without emerging. According to the reports, the maximum speed of these boats is 25 knots, and they have a range of 4,500 kilometers. The submarines have 4 torpedo tubes that have to be extended to 650 millimeters, which has led to widespread suspicion that the Israelis want to equip the submarines with cruise missiles that are armed with nuclear warhead. HDW, which is now a subsidiary of TKMS, was the company that was responsible for designing and building Israel's submarine fleet. In November 2005, the departing Chancellor of Germany gave his approval for the sale of the 4th and 5th submarines of the Dolphin class for a total price of $1.2 billion, with the German government agreeing to cover a third of the cost of the transaction. TKMS reportedly received an order from Israel in March 2012 for the construction of a 6th vessel at the cost of around $2 billion. In the latter half of 2016, changes of corrupt behavior in connection with the transaction emerged. There's reason to believe that many of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's closest friends accepted bribes in connection with procurement of submarines from TKMS by the Israeli government. A German prosecutor decided to drop the investigation in January 2021, stating no sufficient suspicion of criminal offenses against specific domestic persons. Also, Germany and Israel reached an agreement in 2017 about Germany's commitment to fund a significant chunk of the cost of the INS Drakon. Germany will pick up the tab for the remaining 1.5 billion euros, while Israel will be responsible for about 2.5 billion euros worth of payments. In addition, the two countries reached an agreement whereby Germany will make an investment of 850 million euros into Israeli military industry. Israel is one of 9 nations that have the capability to produce nuclear weapons, and it is the only one of those countries that is not openly acknowledged that is a nuclear power. Israel adheres to a strategy of nuclear ambiguity in order to keep its opponents uncertain of its capabilities, and, as a result, undermine an adversary's confidence in the viability of a successful surprise assault. According to the estimates provided by the Arms Control Association, Israel is in possession of 90 nuclear weapons. Israel's armaments are most likely dispersed throughout its air, land, and sea forces. Among its probable nuclear assets are nuclear gravity bombs for F-16 fighters, and nuclear warheads for cruise missiles aboard current Dolphin-I class submarine. Israel also maintains a force of Jericho-2 and 3 missiles. While the Jericho-3 has the range to target Iran, the missiles are also in a fixed location and may destroy the enemy in a first strike if they're attacked first. Iran is most likely the foe that prompted Israel to construct its new submarine with that country in mind. Iran's military and political leaders have made several threats to wipe Israel off the face of the earth, which makes the idea that Tehran would acquire nuclear weapons a worrisome one. In that case, Israel's capacity for retaliation, which may one day take the shape of the INS Drakon, may prove to be a moderating factor that avoids a nuclear conflict.